Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first episode of Qualms of the Curious. Are you ever curious about if the Illuminati is watching you? Or maybe you think the Bermuda Triangle possibly could be real? Or you swore you saw the Loch Ness Monster? Well, that's what we're here for. Ishtar, Kadunt, myself, and our guest Lo-Fi are going to basically show you you're crazy. Because none of those conspiracies are real. But anyway.
Yes, they are.
How's it going, everyone?
Hi, guys.
This is episode 1. We're talking about the theory of Atlantis.
Gotta start with a classic.
Yep, you gotta start with Disney.
Well, no Disney.
One.
Wrong one. Wrong
Oh,
Atlantis.
fuck, I joined the wrong podcast. I thought we were going to talk about the best Disney movie.
See,
Hi,
I wanted
blue-collar
to.
Canuck.
I wanted to
Gray
start with
Stone, yeah.
something easier, like the Loch Ness Monster here, or because even though that's been proven to be false, the guy who created the hoax actually said, "Hey, look at this. This was just how I did it." People still believe it's real.
Because it is.
We could have, but you didn't counterclaim when I suggested Atlantis, so we're doing Atlantis.
You also suggested the Illuminati first, and we don't want to piss off our overlords right away, all right? They control everything.
You shot that down.
Do it, Illuminati. They're watching you.
They're watching you.
It's like ASMR. Right
It is the all-seeing eye.
Okay, so with Atlantis, Antoine, you were looking up that history for us, right?
I was, and I actually found out something pretty interesting about Atlantis. So I'm going to go over the history and the mythos of Atlantis.
Wait, well, we also have Lo-Fi, who actually has like an archaeological and like history background. Like she's learned in this shit.
So you're saying that she has found, artifacts from Atlantis that she's going to
She already knows where it is. She's just here to lead us down the wrong path.
Yes.
Oh, so she's part of the conspiracy. I got
Yes.
it. Got it.
Nailed it. I'm going to have to execute all of you.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
So
there goes my night.
So first, let's go with the name Atlantis. It's ancient Greek for island of Atlas. It's a fictional island that was mentioned in an allegory on hubris from Plato, believe it or not. He was using it as an example as an attacking body against Athens. And at that point in time, when he said it, there was a fracture in the people who were listening to him. Half of them believed that since Plato takes everything from reality or bases stuff in reality, that Atlantis is a real continent, that it's got real people in it, it's a real governing body, and that they were going to come after Athens. The other half, including his student Socrates, basically went, he's using it as a metaphor. And most of the people told Socrates to shut the hell up. Now, despite the minor importance in Plato's work, the Atlantis story has had a considerable impact on literature, and the allegorical aspect of Atlantis was taken up in utopian works of several Renaissance writers, such as Francis Bacon and Thomas More. On the other hand, 19th century amateur scholars misinterpreted Plato's narrative as a historical tradition, most notably in Atlantis, the antediluvian world. Plato's vague indication of the time of events, more than 9,000 years before his time, and the alleged location of Atlantis, which has never been found, but many people have taken guesses to where it is, basically saying that it's beyond the Pillars of Hercules, has led to so much pseudoscience and speculation that people today still think Atlantis is real. One of them is in this hangout. And as a consequence, Atlantis has become a byword for any and all supposed advanced prehistoric lost civilizations. Now, what's really interesting about the mythos of Atlantis is there are many different tellings of it, even today, but I won't get into that. One of them is best known from the original Clash of the Titans movie, where they go to Atlantis, and Atlantis is above ground until a single drop of blood is spilt on the ground, and then it gets sunken into the earth. Or sunken into the sea, I'm sorry. And then there are other theories where Atlantis pissed off the gods in ancient Greece, and basically Zeus sunk them to the bottom of the sea, where Poseidon now rules over. There's other ones where it's filled with mer people. King Triton, who is Poseidon's brother or son, I think it's son, is ruler over the. Yeah, it's
Son.
complicated. Yeah, he's ruler over the Atlanteans. But every single time you talk about Atlantis, it is either, now we did talk about the Disney one, right? And the Disney one had a lot of, I would say, Incan kind of influence, which is actually another thing. The Mayans and the Incans were said to be part of Atlantis. And a lot of their historical artifacts and things like that were considered to be part Atlantean. So, but it's always shown as this peaceful, highly intelligent, highly technologically advanced society thing, and it's always a utopia. But for me, it doesn't exist, and that's pretty much the history of it. Plato came up with it. People took it the wrong way, and now it's a thing.
It's from his wording called Critias, if you want to read it.
Yes,
It's fun.
Yeah, and he uses it as it's an allegory for another. He was arguing that Athens needs to be defensible from all sides, basically. And he used a mythological, or he made up a nation to go at as an example.
Well, no, but if you also look at it too, it could simply be and we're getting far ahead of ourselves here. But it could have just been, a play on the fact that, when you become, because like Atlantis in the Critias, it was struck down by natural disasters and by a volcano, when they started becoming too strong and started to become more warmongering.
Actually, there's a couple of different theories on how Atlantis was sunk. Some of it was the gods. Another one suggests that Atlantis was swallowed by the Bermuda Triangle, since no one knows exactly where it was. Some people believe that it was swallowed up in the Great Flood of ancient times. And there's even one that says that the Atlantis was actually Antarctica before the ice came.
There was also another one that I was reading up on that they believed that he was talking about the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
So then America was actually
Sunk.
Atlantis.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Lo-Fi, you want to learn us some stuff about what you know about this one?
What I know, what seems to be the most likely, what fits the theory and fits Plato's when he lived in 430 BC, give or take, is that approximately 9,000 years before him, there was an island known the island of Sparta, who sunk in the Straits of Gibraltar, which would fit with where approximately the Pillars of Hercules would be. And that is probably an island why he draws on such sorry, I'm a little tired, so I forgot the word. Why he uses such a metaphor for such a thing based on reality. It could be both, and it could be that island. The problem, though, with that theory of Sparta is that there was no civilization on Sparta. It was just an island, but it has sunk. So he could mix it up like that. That is the most probable historical reason for Atlantis.
Well, Ragnar Ulfert for $2. Remember that during the Ice Age, ocean levels low.
Yes.
I'm assuming he meant were low.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, that's what I figured he meant as well, and that seems, yeah,
Now
during the Ice Age.
I
But
saw someone in chat earlier who said it could be true, and it could do something. That's true, but the problem is, at the moment, Atlantis has taken up such a role in the mind of people that it simply just means a civilization that sunk. And yes, that the ocean is fucking huge. That could very well be true. But
Mhm.
would it be Atlantis or would it be a civilization that sunk? And how the fuck would Plato know if it was somewhere else on the earth?
Especially being 9,000 years before his time.
Yeah, so if it's not on and around where he lived and he talked to people and he studied, that's a far stretch. Now, yeah, of course, a sunken civilization could very well be true.
Yeah, but like, what are the theories that you were going over, Ishtar? Like, which one of those? Like, what were those? Give me yeah. I swear I can speak.
Do you need some more coffee? You're sounding kind of tired, honey.
Oh no, almost. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
She needs 65 gigs of it.
Yeah. Give me 1 sec. I gotta go get my VR headset. I mean, what coffee?
Like Antoine mentioned, Plato was the first to posit the theory of Atlantis. And of course, everybody went insane with it, but it was just an allegory. Another theory is that Atlantis was actually the story of a Minoan civilization from the Greek islands somewhere between 2500 and 1600 BC.
So you're saying that the continent that sunk into the sea is now run by minnows?
Minoans, and no, they're actually dead.
Well, yeah, they went into the sea with the island. Of course they're dead.
I can't argue that. Basically, the Minoans had a great civilization, big palaces, paved roads, first written languages in Europe, so on and so forth. However, it was an earthquake that took care of it. It was based around the island of Thera, which is now Santorini, and 10 million tons of rock, ash, gas, and lava, and guess what? No more Minoan society.
Now, were they normal sized or were they like pygmies because of the name?
I don't know. The article didn't mention it.
Well, see, this is the type of research you're supposed to do. It's the important part. We need to know if they were full-sized humans or not.
Ragnar Ulfbert. The land area we lost during the melt and flood was 17%ish.
17% me? No, I would totally be a lot thinner than I am.
It was 17% of you that melted, and we lost 17%.
I think he's just trying to use your guys' names as creatively as he can in the super chat.
Yeah, but Ragnar, what you think about is when during the Ice Age, and how it melted and such. But you still forcing an idea that there was such a civilization back then, and we have found no evidence of a civilization that educated at such a time yet.
Again, we also have to bring up the fact that this is still Plato talking about 9,000 years before his time. So even if there was say the 17% was this entire continent that just disappeared, he still wouldn't know about it. It's not like Plato and the Greeks could travel below the sea. This was all stuff that they just kind of went, yeah, that sounds plausible.
There's been some talk that maybe there was a mistranslation, when it comes from the Egyptian to the Greek You know, that it was a mistranslation. It's not 9,000. It was just meant to be 900 years.
Which is entirely feasible. Languages change and evolve all the time. So what could have meant, hey, how you doing, buddy, could have translated at that time to something very rude. So
How you doing, buddy? To your wife smells like an old yak. I mean,
pretty much. There you go.
but even if it was 900 years ago, we're still talking about something that he couldn't have possibly known, or with the technology at the time, the people could have possibly known that there was civilization there.
It's not entirely true because,
Well-
yes, there may have been no records of it, but there would have been stories, legends, oral histories of
Yeah,
such
but
an event occurring.
We're also talking about that's how the myths came to be. You know, it's oral history, and things start getting more and more and more exaggerated because you want to do more and more. You want to add your own spin to it.
Oh no. Okay. So if you read, it's less exaggerated than. Of course, there's the idea that you want to add your own spin to it, but there's also very big part of it that's, of course, word of mouth. You've played the game yourself as a kid. If you say something to the next person who says something, it will change.
Telephone.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
telephone.
Yeah, but there's also the thing is when you're not from a certain place, depending on how evolved your country is at the time, there is a limited understanding on what you can. That's why things like the unicorn existed, because people would see something like a rhino in Africa, have never seen anything. They've seen a horse, and they go, "Oh my god, that's a magical fucking horse. It has a horn." Then they,
Ragnarok. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, did you say?
Yeah, Ragnarok Ulfbert. Yeah.
Do you
Somebody
go ahead?
read it.
Go ahead.
Because I'm not really contributing too much to this anyway. You guys are doing all the, so I'll be the fucking super chat whore. For $10, they caught the fertile boom of coming out of the Ice Age and one of the few civilizations to establish themselves. It's not a mistranslation either. 9,000 years lines up with them and Sumeria. And then Ragnarok Ulfbert for $5. There's also a strange thing that lines up with the solar flare in drawings of how we would see plasma in the sky. Boom, massive flood out of nowhere.
It doesn't line up with the Sumeria or the Sumer really, because that is that's 4,500 BC that starts. So it's 4,500 years before that still. But then again, of course, we don't know exactly when something started, but that's an approximation based on the material we have found. So yeah, as you have to say in all science, it very well could be that much older.
Yeah, because you can't make any definites in science. There's always a chance. There's always a probability.
Unless it's something exceptionally retardedly stupid that breaks every laws of physics. And even then you have to say, maybe, I guess.
Yeah. Well, because nothing is 100%. There's always that random chance that something different could happen. But in cases like this, it even if, again, we're talking about word of mouth, if it is 9,000 years of oral history, we're talking about a lot of changes to that telephone game.
And saying that it's the gods, what if it was just one really pissed off god who decided to, destroy
because
it?
it's always different gods. There are stories that Atlantis was pulled down because of Poseidon. There were stories about Zeus as the reason that it was taken down. Then there's one that it's Athena because it was in between the battle between her and Poseidon. Was there a landmass that probably could have disappeared? Yeah, more than likely. We know more about outer space than we do our own oceans. But are we saying that there is a technologically advanced society that was on this rock that suddenly just disappeared?
And it has happened before, not to a flood, but there has been extremely advanced civilization that just straight up went, why the fuck did this one stop? We haven't found evidence yet. But it's happened before.
Are you talking about the Aztecs?
Not necessarily, because we have an idea. We know why the Aztecs disappeared.
Yeah, their calendar was going up, and they decided to beat feet.
No, that's the Mayan calendar.
Well, whatever.
Billy, it's
Two
not the
totally
same thing.
different things.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
that is. Oh my god, you're just messing with one of my degrees right there. Stop.
I Am Cancer says it was ancient aliens that took down Atlantis.
Fact. I agree.
It's always aliens.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you never know. Like, fucking Atlantis could have been so advanced that instead of it being like their whole island sunk in the sky, what if they fucking like lifted up
Wait, it's sunk
into
in the
the sky? Or sunk into the ocean. They lifted
just-
up into the sky. I
it just
meant
went
what you
phew.
knew, okay?
There are a few different theories that do suggest that Atlantis was populated by an extraterrestrial culture that was not able to survive on Earth, hence the loss of it.
Well, no, maybe not the loss. Just it disappeared. Like that's the whole thing. Is like it's saying Atlantis disappeared. It's saying that Atlantis sunk into the ocean. What if it didn't sink into the ocean? What if it floated off into the fucking sky because they figured out a way to fucking make it float up and out and away? I mean, there's of course all the other theories, you know, like that it was the Minoan civilization of Thera, and that, you know, they were warmongers as well.
Well, real quick, Metaphorist says earlier cultures took story propagation and fidelity far more seriously than we do now. That's true, but we're still talking about people who put their own. It's not word for word. You can't say something that unless they're doing it right, you know, next to the person that told them the story originally. The story is going to change no matter what it is. Even small details change, and then those small details get bigger and bigger and bigger the more the story is told. In over 9,000 years, that story is going to change completely from what it originally started out as.
I'm gonna bring my own theory to the Atlantis thing.
Oh, please, yeah.
So you know how an ocean doesn't necessarily have to be water. It doesn't. It has to be something big, something wide, something you usually don't live in. What if the ocean they're talking about like is a desert? What if it's something like Göbekli Tepe, who disappeared 10,000 years BC? Probably, maybe earlier than that, and we don't know anything about it, and it's a civilization that just disappeared, and we just found the ruins, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And that is extremely advanced considering what the fuck we found. Or something like Çatalhöyük.
What is that?
Yeah,
That
you
is,
gotta explain that one.
That's one of the world's oldest cities ever, about 9,000 BC. I think up to 9,000 years ago. So 9,000 BC to 7,000 BC. There was a city in Turkey called Çatalhöyük who was extremely advanced as well. And it just stopped. Every evidence we found, they just stopped.
Well, we do. I mean, think of the Sahara Desert. People call that the Sand Sea.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it could be the same thing.
Point.
Yeah. And again, Metaphorist, we're talking about 9,000 years, not 900, 9,000. There's a big difference between hundreds of years and thousands of years. Like, would you rather have $900 or $9,000?
That's why it could be lost. Why couldn't it have been Plato and them knew about Göbekli Tepe? It's in Turkey, both of them. It's not that far away. Two civilizations and Çatalhöyük, two civilizations that disappeared in a ocean of sand.
And then if that's the
possibility.
case, and it's, you know, he's interpreting it basically on something that it may have been a completely different city that inspired the idea of Atlantis. Again, as people travel, they're going to spread things through word of mouth. Things are going to get distorted.
A
Yes.
Wild Fox Appears says, I was expecting a not safe for Wednesday.
That was earlier, Wild Fox. That was earlier.
5.5 hours ago, almost.
Yeah. Feel free to go ahead and rewatch that. I'm just saying. Not right now. Later.
Yeah, don't watch it right now.
That's what I mean, right?
Listen to us. But you also have to consider that if it sank into the sea, or like the water sea, or it was swallowed by a desert, 9,000 years of constant motion from either the winds in the sand or the tides in the ocean, it's going to wear away and hide things, it's, you're going to get coral and sand building up on top of it. After 9,000 years, you're not going to find anything.
Oh, yeah, that's not true at all, though. In archaeological records, that is just
And metaphors brings up another Lo-Fi, give me just a second because his comment's going to go away. 9,000 years spans cultures, exactly, which means language differences to those stories that then change because they don't have the same wording or whatever that is to share that story.
Ragnar Ulfbert for $5. Didn't one of the pharaohs have a vision to dig up the Sphinx? And if you actually line it up with the stars, it should line up with the Leo.
With loin Leo.
I'm
lion Leo, loin Leo, and that's
Loin
so it's the Leo's cock.
with the lion Leo.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
like this is the
Ragnar.
thing. If you're talking about a bunch of civilizations disappearing, archaeologically, they're really advanced now. They have a lot of different advanced technologies. But I'm going to point out one fact that we still haven't explored the depths of the ocean, to its fullest degree.
We have explored 5 to 10% of the Marianas Trench, and we have found out that there is a larger and deeper trench than the Marianas one, and that used to be the one that was the deepest thing in our ocean.
Yeah. Now what's her name?
I have no idea, but I know that
what's the name of the trench?
I can't remember it, but I know there's another one.
So I was supposed to play the skeptic side of this, but y'all are doing a good enough job, especially you, Antoine. I can't like say that that Atlantis never existed.
I'm not.
I'm a firm believer that.
I'm not saying that it never existed. I'm just saying that because, like Lo-Fi said, you can't say that something never happened or something is 100%. There is a possibility. I would love to live in a world where there is mystical things all over the place. I just don't personally believe it. I don't think that a super advanced technological society for the time. I'm not talking about a super advanced technological society compared to today. I'm talking about for the time would be able to just be gone. And
why not?
Because I mean, we're talking about an entire continent. We know how the continents are built up. The islands do not float. The island of Hawaii is connected to the
But
crust of the earth.
islands sank before. It's happened before many
They've
times.
sunk before because the ground. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the continent itself didn't sink, but don't you think that if something is, we're talking about the technological society of whatever generation it was back then, would have the ability to even have boats and get off the island, learn how to know how to swim, do something? I mean, the
Maybe
raft
that's
is
how
not that.
the rumor spread about Atlantis disappearing because some people escaped. What if it was a volcanic island? Maybe it was an early supervolcano island, which exploded.
That's why I'm saying I'm not saying it never existed. I'm not saying 100% that it never existed. I'm saying there is a possibility. I just don't personally believe it happened.
Well, I'm just saying that I think it's highly probable. I believe that, there could have been a technologically advanced, at least for the time, society that could have easily have had some sort of massive, world-ending, well, not world-ending, but massive natural disaster that took it out. Because that kind of shit happens all the time. There was somebody earlier, I believe it was Raystone earlier, said modern day example. Look at Detroit. It was a beacon of advancement in the way that it was built and it was a factory city, and now it's basically a pile of rubble and steel bones. It's become dilapidated, and this kind of shit can happen all the time. Like what happened to the Egyptians? Why, they built these beautiful, ginormous sculptures out of sandstone, and I love the fact that people like to talk about the aliens and stuff like that, because why the fuck not? Yeah. aliens possible, but some shit happened, and they're no longer a dominating. They were their own world power in a way, and now they're no longer there, and because shit happens all the time, especially over time, and natural disasters tend to be one of the biggest hard hitters, and we have the technology to be able to figure out and discover this shit, but it can only go so far. And considering we've only like explored 5% of our oceans, and currents are a thing, and natural buildup of different stuff, like it's all a thing. And fuck yeah,
$5 from I'm gonna
Rag-
steal your super chat now.
yeah,
Ragnar
Ragnar.
Wolfbird, have you
Yeah.
never seen a tsunami video? I think the whole world, but A5 to 15 feet. There's a reason the flood is taught in every culture on Earth historically. I'm not sure it's taught in every culture. I think many landlocked earlier cultures have not taught each other about the flood.
They could have
Yeah.
heard the stories from merchants for the most part.
I think I was just called Zell. I'm not Zell.
He's not that racist.
He's not that
Love
racist.
Fighter
Not
called you
that gay.
Zell.
This one doesn't like Jews. It's a difference.
Hey.
And Raystone, yes, the earliest known writing we have right now is the Yahoo symbols found on tortoise shells about 6,000 BC. But again, we have to theorize that if they're that old, who's to say there's not proto-writing from before that period? So,
So, before, since she's been sitting there so patiently, Ishtar, what are some of the modern theories about Atlantis that you were talking about?
Well, some of the modern theories include the fact that the Atlantis is actually beneath the Bermuda Triangle, which is one of the reasons why we keep having so many issues with planes and boats disappearing. Apparently, they're still putting out pulses of energy. There's supposedly a crystal pyramid underneath it that's part of Atlantis that's sending out pulses of energy, hence all the weirdness there. We've also, a lot of people actually strongly believe that Atlantis is underneath Antarctica, that the ice has basically built up over the years, and they use as evidence some of the things like the natural erosion patterns that come from the ice moving, growing, and shrinking over the years, and carving trenches in itself as evidence of the civilization still being there. And
Wait, so we're talking about like the pyramid in Alien vs. Predator?
what?
In the very first Alien vs. Predator movie, they go to Antarctica and they drill down underneath the ice, and there is a pyramid where the predators go to fight the aliens. Is that kind of like the thing? I'm not talking about that specifically. I'm using that as an example, that the ice, that there was a civilization there, and it just the cold temperature just froze them over.
Basically, that's one of the theories, yeah. Is that much like Pompeii, the ice has preserved it. But of course, it's unless we're all prepared to get a whole bunch of hair dryers and go out there and melt down at Antarctica, that's going to be one that's really hard to prove. I know Lo-Fi was about to correct me earlier about how they can archaeologically find things that are older than 9,000 years old. And I do also remember seeing, I wasn't able to find the article again, but I do remember seeing an article a while back about a discovery of massive squared off slabs in the Mediterranean that was also supposedly from supposedly a site for Atlantis.
yeah. But I was more correcting you on what did what to sustain, because that's one of the first thing you learn when you study archaeology, is you get completely changed in when your understanding on what preserves best, and water is one of the best preservers of old shit in the world.
Is it
Even-
really?
Yes,
Even
it is.
having the tides and sand and stuff constantly washing against it.
Yeah, it's incredibly preservative in most forms. That's why we have like Uluburun.
Gesundheit.
Uluburun.
Oompa
Which is
Loompa?
okay. Yes, we found once an Oompa Loompa under the sea.
Right?
It's 9,000 years. We have almost perfectly preserved ancient fucking ship in the Uluburun, which is made of fucking wood, and we have it. It's right next to the coast, so it's not that far off the coast of Turkey. I know a lot about Turkey. 1400 BCE, and it's like it was fucking amazingly kept underwater next to the coast, where the tide, the sand would have done wonders. But no,
Really?
yeah,
That is interesting. I did not know that. I don't
like
claim.
the best thing you can get it would be a swamp with a level of sourness that bacteria can't live there, of course, but we can't go expect that from anything. Water's very good. The extreme desert is very good as well, except for the fact that scavengers has a tendency of eating, but the most well-preserved mummies we have is desert mummies of poor people buried in the desert, just not that far underneath the sand.
Huh. That's fascinating.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Schooled you!
Yep.
Always do, Lo-Fi. You always do. And of course, there's always the classic theories of the Atlanteans are working with the Illuminati and the aliens to control our lives.
So both of them, the aliens and the Illuminati.
Yeah, that was one of the wilder ones, though, and I chose not to keep
The
that
Ali-
article up.
The Alienati.
The Alienati.
So
The
what it
aliens.
is the Illuminati found out that the aliens are real and that they've been visiting, so they captured the aliens and are now working together to make sure that the Atlanteans don't find out, or that the people don't find out about the Atlanteans, and we're all going to be missing in the next few days.
Absolutely true.
Okay, I'm just checking. I got to make sure I got to clear my calendar. You know.
Yeah. I would definitely make sure that you have everything in writing, just in case.
All right.
Trippy, I'm not spreading my cheeks. Stop it. It's way too early in the morning. I might be naked, but I ain't a pervert right now.
Trippy, go fap and do something productive with your time.
I think it's the third or fourth time he's asked me.
Yes, I've seen They Live. Ragnar Ulfbert for $2. Have you not seen They Live? It's something's close. Yeah, I've seen They Live. It's a great
fucking
movie.
Fun.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, Ishtar, we're gonna have to do something about you.
I know. I have a terrible movie.
You have
Library.
I have a terrible movie.
I've seen that movie. It's not terrible. She has a really good movie, but I'm talking about her movie experiences.
You don't know anything about my movie. You just think you do.
Oh no, I've seen it. It's on the internet.
God damn it!
I've not
paid them
seen
to keep it off the
They Live.
It's
What
so
is it
good.
about? Does it have to do with Atlantis?
No,
Not at all.
no.
So we should probably change it then. Change the subject then.
No.
Back to-
I was just curious. I wasn't sure because I've never seen it, so I don't know what it's about.
Back to Atlantis.
It's actually a really good movie.
Yes.
It's about subliminal messaging, kind of, with Roddy Piper, and one of the best fight scenes in movie history. Anyway,
Charming.
Here's love.
did Brocken suddenly show up on chat? Is that what happened?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in.
Mute yourself, child.
Here's love.
Okay.
Fish people sex? No.
Wait, I saw that movie. I saw the what was it? Fucking where's Zell? God damn it.
Okay.
what was the name of the fish
I've got-
people sex movie?
I'm gonna have to. Oh my god, it's the new one, right?
Shape of Water. Shape of Water. That's what it is.
They have sex with fish.
She does.
No spoiler, but yeah, she does.
Spoiler
Okay.
free. She fucks a fish.
That's it. We're not gonna say which kind of fish, but she shoves it way up there.
It's
All
always
right,
a red
then.
snapper.
Gonna answer James Jones in chat. Odd fact: if you took all the water on planet, you still could not cover all the land masses. That is true, James. That's why we're not drowning right now.
Wow.
So,
Whoa,
okay,
Schmeckle, you're alive for this?
Yeah, I've been here.
it
You
was
wanna
just
you
a
wanna
joke.
weigh in on the Atlantis stuff?
Are you secretly an Atlantean here to monitor us so that we don't give away your secrets?
Apes can't swim.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
Because of Atlantis.
I don't think Atlantis exists. If it did, I wouldn't be able to visit it.
That's
I think most of the conspiracy theories are dumb. I think it's like Lo-Fi said. Sunken cities, sure. Maybe even I'd go as far as saying probably. Atlantis specifically, probably not.
Well, I mean, is that the thing? Have we ever found a full city, like a full sunken city underwater?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
There is a. I'm remembering an article that I read earlier. I'm going looking for it now, but there is a Cuban underwater city that they have named the Cuban underwater city. I know, isn't that a great title?
The Cuban underwater city.
That is what they've named it.
They couldn't have come up with anything more creative than that.
No, they kept it simple for everybody.
In their native language, I'm sure it sounds beautiful.
I
The
bet.
fuck do Cubans speak? Spanish?
There's about
Spanish.
5 sunken cities around the world.
And Lo-Fi knows of even more.
Yeah.
But what I mean by like more than like 5 buildings type sunken
Yeah.
city, I'm talking like full on. Think of like old Rome, that type of sunken
Okay,
city.
I think you misunderstand when I say it will be well preserved. You still have to take into consideration the thing that fucking sunk it is going to destroy a lot of it. And well preserved is like, you don't take it literally as in you go down there, it's like, oh shit, that's the grocery store. And a pet store. Oh, they still have puppies? Not gonna be like that.
Those poor puppies, they're still alive somehow.
But 9,000 years
I don't mean
kills.
like that. I mean like being able to tell the size of the city, seeing smaller buildings on the outskirts, being able to determine if there was a downtown, a city square, being able to determine, buildings and farmland and things like that.
No. Okay, so you say yourself, we have 5% discovered the ocean. That's true. When we find an underground, you can say the Dwarka Gulf of Cambay in India.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. So that's the ancient city of Lord Krishna.
The Hare Krishnas.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah.
That was once a myth as well, that people thought that they found it under the sea. So that is, and it's still very old. So there's a lot that gets completely destroyed.
Again, why I'm saying that there is a possibility of a continent of it. I'm not saying that there isn't a possibility of it.
Why does it have to be a? Why does it has to be a continent?
Because
Well,
that's what
it's an island.
It's usually an island.
Yeah, islands are not continent.
Anyway,
It's
an
been
I-
described as both a continent and an island, depending on which legends you're talking about. Very
But
much.
take the first one you heard about it. That would make more sense if you take the first one that Plato wrote in Critias.
That was the island, correct?
Yeah, it was an island.
So take an
Ragnarok,
island.
for $2, don't we have a sunken city in Bulgaria's inland sea?
I actually don't know. Let me find out.
But what were you gonna say, Lo?
I forgot. I was just
Continent versus
talking
island.
about. Oh yeah, that a continent is like that's fucking huge, and if we think a continent, everyone in Europe dies, and everyone in US. When island, that's a tiny pillar of Earth. Basically, it's not really a pillar though. It can be. That's probably why some of them fucking sunk.
The landmass connecting it to the crust was eroded away. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. I just don't think that it was a advanced society. I don't think that the myth of Atlantis is a real. I don't think that happened. I'm
Oh.
not saying that there isn't a city that was once called Atlantia or whatever.
What
that
about
was
the
on an
lion
island.
city of Qingdao Lake in China? With
Again, Gesundheit, you really need to do something about that cold.
And 62 football fields.
And it's in the sea now.
Yes. That's an entire city that sank.
Again,
Okay, I think you're missing the point he's making.
I know. I'm just messing with him.
Batman
Getting
McGrath
him to
says, "What
repeat
if
himself.
Atlantis didn't sink, but it was just a city that was destroyed, and they built on top of it, not knowing it was Atlantis or knowing it was there?"
That's a theory.
That's a pretty good question.
That's
It's-
a fair point. And all right, I think that it's highly probable. I strongly believe that there was a, again, for that time, technologically advanced society, and maybe even an entire island culture that was more advanced than, say, the Grecians or the Romans that were around them, or that were nearby, because we're talking about the Pillars of Hercules and it just being past the Pillars of Hercules. Why, I can see it totally being something that had existed and even having been taken out by, say, a major natural disaster, or as Lo-Fi had pointed out, possibly even a super volcano. I don't see why not. I can't. There's been no evidence. There's been plenty of evidence of archaeological finds of very old pieces of technology that shouldn't have existed during such a time, that it was founded to be part of.
like what?
Hold on, let
The
me.
ancient
You
battery.
should have known he would call you out on that one.
Well,
I know.
No, I know what Lo-Fi's talking about. Yeah, but she brings it up. I want to know what technological stuff that they've found that
Also-
shouldn't
also-
be there.
Well, like
Keeping in
weaponry,
mind
keeping in mind.
Keeping in mind that advanced technology means something different in every era. We think of advanced technology and we think of interstellar travel and flying cars and shit like that. 9,000 years ago, what was advanced technology likely to be?
Using
a rock
steel
with a
instead
handle
of
on it.
using steel instead of brass.
Or iron, and something like that, iron instead of stone. It is very subjective to say that they had an advanced society, and it could just have been as simple as they knew how to pave their streets with one thing or another.
They used toilets.
They built structures that were more than 6 feet high. I mean, we don't know, is my point. Exactly what they meant by advanced society, and that could have contributed very materially to why they were not able to save themselves, except for maybe a few survivors who lived to spread the word about the island, to tell what happened in their history.
Yes, but that's all conjecture. She said that they actually, not from Atlantis, but Kadant said that they have this. They have found these things. I want to know what they are. And I'm not talking about the Baghdad battery or anything like that. I'm talking about what evidence of ancient societies have we found that they were using advanced technology. And I'm not talking about our advanced technology. I'm talking about advanced technology for them.
Hi, bitching witch.
What if it wasn't advanced technology for them?
Well, that's what this whole thing is about, right? The what ifs, like what's it? There's,
Welcome to
ancient
humane
Rome had
science.
toilets. When you flushed, air was pulled in, and the smell would be reduced. No, I know about that, Trippy. They would be considered advanced because of something as simple as that.
Well,
Like
they were
that.
also considered advanced for the aqueducts and some of the things that they built and their military might and things like that. And that's another thing we have to take and consider when we're talking about technologically advanced. The first thing that you think of when you think technologically advanced societies and why they are as able to maneuver as much as they are is because they've put it into weaponry. So why, if Atlantis was some technologically advanced society for the time, were they not able to sustain their presence? Was Alexander the Great, didn't he have some of the most technologically advanced weaponry for the time, which is why he was able to take over most of the known world?
That was
Look at
mostly due to his tactics, though.
Yeah, his
okay,
tactics
Genghis
were
Khan, his technological advancement was being able to ride horses.
Okay. You do know the people he killed also rode horses, but his technologically advanced was his tactics again. Now you're messing with my second degree.
My point is that the fact that they are technologically advanced, they should have been able to survive anything for the time, and they're
Unless
not. They haven't been there.
Unless it was something that was more natural, a sickness, an earthquake, a flood, like some have suggested.
Pompeii exploded and destroyed an entire countryside, and we still know that they were there because it preserved it perfectly.
Yeah.
Not every natural disaster is going to preserve it perfectly.
Yeah, not every natural disaster is a volcano.
That
Oh,
too.
it's you're kind of doing the opposite now. You are saying that because they didn't do this, it clearly could not have existed. That's
No, I'm asking it was brought up that they were technologically advanced and that things were found, so I'm asking my questions. I'm asking if they were, because every single time Atlantis is brought up, every single movie, every single story, every single myth, they are more technologically advanced than the societies around them. And we're talking about when it was with the Romans and the Greeks, they had Atlantis supposedly had abilities to have electricity in some of the stories.
Oh yeah, but imagine if because they're technologically advanced, you can go. Then you can also say, oh well, maybe they were that technologically advanced, but maybe they just didn't know that the island was corroding away underneath them. Maybe that wasn't part of the fucking research, and then it came completely as a shock as the island just say,
just 1 second they're there, the next second they're not.
Yeah, like just the Mesopotamian people like had things like just pure like metalworking, that was considered technologically advanced. And even like the fucking the Archimedes screw, the gods, I'm so bad, my brain is so bad sometimes. But like there's been lots of things that are considered, and it doesn't mean that they're studying, like, again, one thing that most societies and even today's society tends to focus on is studying the stars above us. And we know more about the stars in the universe and the nebulas and the different galaxies that are all around, and the different solar systems. We know more about that stuff, and we focus more on that stuff than we do even like the ground beneath us. Like, can you tell, like,
I said
can
that
you tell me
already.
exactly? Yeah, and so like that's one of the things. Like, just because they're technologically advanced, in consideration to those times, like, doesn't have to be the same kind of advancements as
As far as Atlantis is concerned, there has been no proof. I'm not saying it couldn't have happened. I'm not saying there couldn't have been an island that didn't just up and disappear. What I'm saying is we have no proof. The only and we
Of
have
what we're
we
aware
have
of.
we have the person who coined the term Atlantis using it as an allegory for another country that could attack Athens. It was taken a different way by half of the crowd and taken another way by another half of the crowd. It's that's why I'm saying I'm not saying that there couldn't have been a society that sank from an ocean, but for the fact that Plato himself was talking about something 9,000 years before his time, there is no physical proof that Atlantis existed.
That's true. But yeah, but
Well,
then we can just go back to it's a maybe.
There's no physical proof that a place that is defined for certain as Atlantis existed. Because there's been plenty of different places, like again the island of there that had been destroyed by a fucking massive volcano. That's one of the places that could be considered as Atlantis. But we're like, everybody's trying to look so hard for even further technologically advanced destroyed societies and islands that are there, that like
And
like the
also to point out that for the longest time, there was no evidence of Troy. There was word of mouth. There was stories. People thought it was something that Ulysses made up, or Homer made up, not Ulysses. And lo and behold, they actually did find what they believed to be Troy.
Yeah, but they found it relatively within the time frame. We're talking if it was 9,000 years before Plato's time and how many thousands of years after Plato's time, we still haven't found anything.
Ragnar Ulf for $5. I feel our focus on the stars is a blessed optimism for a race, though. If we look down forever, we would never leave this world, and that has to happen.
Yes, I want off this planet because of some of the people that live on it.
We have
I
to
agree with that.
expand. We have to conquer the known universe for the empire.
Malevolent Rider
I'll
says
take
Hawaii is about to become the new Atlantis.
Yeah. Bitching Witch says the Egyptians erased whole parts of their history on purpose.
That's
We
true.
actually have
Yes, but the only reason we know they erased their history is because we found evidence of the history that they tried to erase.
Yeah,
So they didn't erase whole history. They tried to erase whole histories on purpose, but there was still evidence of it.
oh, you don't know what they erased because there might be parts we will never find out because we haven't found evidence yet. And they were that good at erasing parts.
And there's nothing to say that, the Atlanteans weren't basically written over and just completely wiped out. I mean, you look at Rome and basically, if I remember reading correctly at one point, Rome is ruins on top of more ruins on top of more ruins of older and older societies. They just came over and just kept building up.
So
And-
Metaphorist in the chat says that is not the same thing. Homer was just the most prolific source. Later discoveries hinted that Troy was not a fiction. So
yeah, and just and who knows, maybe if we're able to finally decipher the language of the Minoans, we can find bless you. We can find that was Atlantis. We just didn't know it because at the time, like it was all based off of, what Plato's Critias had been about and his whole thing. But just because it doesn't say Atlantis, there's not a big flashing billboard sign saying Atlantis was here. And why the Minoan culture was actually was one of the most well, I can't say one of the most, but it was an advanced civilization, that preceded for its time, and it was the one that was right before the Mycenaean, and they can't even decipher the Minoan language. And you can call, like, I could call y'all like just basic white people, and that wouldn't describe exactly who you are. But guess what? If I tell people like, oh yeah, I know just this group of white people, they're the whiteys. There we go.
The
That's what you're
whiteys.
called now. That's what you're called now. If you guys don't have this stuff, if there's no way for me to explain, exactly what you guys call yourselves or what the names of yourselves are, and we're just basing it off of like, oh, well, there's a picture of this white person, and here's a picture of this white person, like, then they're just the white people, they're the whiteys. There we go.
But
And
this
that's how
all breaks down to Plato's speech. He created a society. He created Atlantis. So the reason the myth of Atlantis started is because some of the people in the crowd of his speech believed that Plato only spoke when he talked about things he knew about. So it must have been a society that he knew about. It must have been real. Socrates basically said, no, he's using it as an allegory. And people looked at Socrates and told him to shut up. That's what we're basing Atlantis off of. That's what this is all about. A speech that got taken the wrong way.
What if
But-
it's a little bit of both?
Why not both?
Again, I'm saying there could possibly be a society that was on an island that sank. We've already talked about that there have been cities found underwater, preserved, cities found, and we've also talked about it being possibly not the ocean we're talking about of an island and cities being preserved. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm just saying that the creation of Atlantis and a society that was talked about in being technologically advanced was an allegory that Plato created.
But what if?
There's always going to be a what if. What if Ishtar walks outside tomorrow and she gets hit by a falling Pomeranian from 30 miles in the air?
Yeah, what if?
Why do I have to be?
It could happen. It's unlikely. It could happen.
Sometimes Pomeranians are in planes.
Yeah, it happens. The planes explode. Everyone else turns to
Or
dust.
or
except
the
for
luggage the luggage hinge on the plane opens up and suddenly a dog falls out. I mean, it could be anything. We're playing a what if game.
Yeah, that's why I stopped after my third degree, because I got bored of having to what if everything. I think Oh my god, I wonder what a dog would sound like from that height.
Actually, it probably sounds more like.
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
Yes, Gnostic, that's what we're talking about. That's what Plato was talking about. That Atlantis was an allegory, and the people in the crowd were talking about it as if it was because Plato very rarely used examples of things that he just made up. So that's why a lot of people in the crowd of his speech decided that, well, it must be a real thing because Plato doesn't make things up.
I mean, it's again, it could have been. Let's see, Ragnar Ulfbert for $2. So it's just the greatest story that was ever told.
No,
is
that's
what you're
the Bible.
saying.
It's Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter.
Pomeranians are nature's homing missiles.
All right,
Unsure
we're
if
gonna
they are-
be put out the hit on me.
I'm gonna answer James Jones quickly on his does ancient vibrators exist? Yes. Cleopatra
do.
used angry bees in a golden tube.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Cleopatra was a freak.
The first
No,
vibrator, a
Cleopatra
hollow
was
god
brilliant.
god full of angry bees. Yeah, it's naturalistic as fuck.
Dude, Cleopatra,
I
she
wasn't
used to
saying it
have.
as a bad thing. I'm just saying her sexual exploits are legendary.
There's
She
also a
had-
legend of her hosting the world's most expensive dinner.
She had hookers coach her in how to, like, she had prostitutes coach her so she knew how to deal with men. So she knew how to use her body and ability as a woman. Like she's fucking brilliant because
Got to
she's
do her
like,
queenly duties.
exactly.
It's why she had what's his name's ear all the goddamn time. Was it Alexander?
Alexander the Great.
Yeah, it's why Alexander the Great was fucking pussy whipped. I'm not not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying it. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she's. Go ahead.
Oh, continue.
I was gonna say. I was just gonna say that she, as Bitching Witch was pointing out, she had the art of seduction down. She used that to her advantage, and she used that to rule.
Fuck her
because
brother and kill him.
Yeah, she knew, and that's why she doesn't like asps.
And
Trippy
she was
the first-
probably the responsibility for sinking Atlantis. Let's just blame
Yes, with her sexual fervor. Trippy the first dildo was made of camel dung as well.
Ew.
Yeah, dried up camel dung and stone.
That's
28,000 years old.
Well, when you're
Metaphor.
desperate.
Yeah. Metaphor says 5,000 years go by. Humanity goes through a bottleneck, and we have a handful of written records, all of them high fantasy. How long would it take technological society to recover?
That's an interesting thought question.
Depends on how many people are left, and let's get it straight. It depends on how many of the learned people are left in that technological society.
Watch Idiocracy. That'll answer your question.
Unless it goes to a point where the race, it's like so unbelievable that the race will die out because of even low numbers or something. We have a tendency of, since there's a tendency of technology evolving in different parts of the world, sometimes at the same time, sometimes different times, without ever interfering with each other. It's not unlikely that unless we got to a point where we're just fucking screwed, there's not enough humans left to restart humanity, that we would pick up in approximately the same time frame as humans have evolved already. But it depends on what's left over and who's left over, and if we understand the written record of the leftovers we find and stuff like that.
Yeah, and how far apart we are based on geographic location and things like that too. So, like, let's say there's 7 continents, 6 if you discount Antarctica because no one can really live there.
5 if you discount Australia, as you should.
Australia is a death trap. It's not a livable place.
And apparently it's a conspiracy as well that we'll have to talk about eventually.
That's true.
So, all right, let's go with 5 then. Let's say there's 100 people left in each continent. The people in the Americas are barely going to communicate, and between North and South America, let alone have any communication with the 3 other continents. So
I mean, shit, the people in the United States can barely communicate as
We're all
is.
right next to each other, and we can't even have a conversation.
So I mean, it's easy to just kind of look at it that way and go, that's why. In answer to the question, if all of it was based on high fantasy, someone starts looking at Lord of the Rings as the Bible, we're fucked.
Dude, Bitching Witch says, "Oh God, could you imagine if Game of Thrones were the only books left after the fall of society and the destruction of technology?"
Trippy,
All be dead.
Trippy, crocodile poop was not the first condom. The first condom back in ancient Egypt you're talking about, that was goat intestines. Crocodile poop was something you smeared inside the vagina afterwards to kill or everything.
Yeah, and
That. Blech.
They used crocodile shit as a fucking spermicide.
Yes.
They did. They
Yes, they
shoved
did.
it up there because it killed everything. Without killing the lady.
That's a big thing. Without killing the woman.
Yeah, they were kind of gross back then.
Hey, you work with what you've got, man.
Yeah, they're
I
technological.
agree. I'm sorry. Doesn't mean I want to experience that at any time soon.
Would shoving shit up your twat not give you like a yeast infection or something?
Probably in many some
no.
of them did. Maybe not. Maybe the bacteria level is so fucking strong that those bacteria won't survive it either. Maybe you get a necrotic vagina. Who knows?
That's scientists. I don't remember where I read this, but scientists say that. All right, say we do have the ability to travel back in time.
It's theoretically possible.
I know it's theoretically. Say we have the ability. They basically said, do not eat anything because your stomach would not be able to handle it.
Oh fuck no. Yeah,
The
fuck
enzymes
no.
that we have in our stomach are so weak compared to the enzymes that we had in way back when. So
that's because the food is so much cleaner.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's things change. Things are different, and we're poop enemas or poop douche is disgusting. Sorry,
Poop douche.
it's what it was. Let's be honest here.
It's gonna be my new insult. You poop douche.
Hashtag poop douche. Spread it like apparently the ladies spread their legs and then tried to kill the sperm with crocodile shit.
$2 from Ragnar Ulfbert. No wonder men would die before going down on women.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Can't really blame them after that.
Oh.
I mean, I'm an all natural, like left leaning hippie,
Not that
but
bad.
I'm not that gross. I am not that gross.
It would explain the fishy smell because the diet of the crocodiles would be mainly fish.
Well,
It's not wrong.
okay, we're digressing.
We are.
We are so much. Jesus, Lord God. Is it even what more can you say about Atlantis?
Frozen
that's-
Atlantis theory.
Is there a frozen Atlantis theory?
I
Yes.
believe.
that
Isn't that the Antarctica?
The Antarctica one,
Yes,
yeah.
it
That's
is.
okay. We talked about that already.
Yes.
We
yeah,
did?
but we,
Yeah. I even brought up the comparison of Alien versus Predator.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. I think I saw that. I was reading chat. I don't remember what I was doing now. Oh,
yeah,
it's
you're
It's nice to know
tired,
she's
man.
paying
Okay.
attention to us, you know?
I just
This
tune
is-
in when I hear something that's wrong. It's like, oh no.
No, let me learn you a thing real quick. No, but like, well, the frozen Atlantis theory is an interesting one as well. Like, I don't
all right,
think
so frozen
don't
Atlantis
think-
theory. Here's my question: How the fuck did anybody know for the fact that Antarctica
Boats were a thing.
not
No.
down to the South Pole? It wasn't.
No, see, the problem with that theory is not that it might be possible on Howard Plato. The problem is that it's called Atlantis again, because then you get the association that, oh yeah, of course it has to be the Plato one. But the problem is now Atlantis just mean sunken society, basically, and not his allegory.
So it could be any society underneath.
Yeah,
that,
so
and it
you
would
have
still be
to
considered Atlantis.
basically when you talk it with Atlantis in most sunken cases, you have to remove the Plato part and say what Atlantis means now. It's a change of definition. Atlantis means evolved society that sunk.
Well, do you
Oh,
want me
it's
to
good.
read the article that I have on
Sure.
the
Yeah.
frozen Atlantic?
Read
Yeah,
some
sure.
of it.
Okay. Scientific theory put forward in the 1950s by American history expert Professor Charles A. Hapgood suggests that thousands of years ago, the icy tundra may have been home to an ancient and mysterious civilization. The theory of crustal displacement posits the Earth's entire crust shifts every 20,000 to 30,000 years, and that only 11,600 years ago, large parts of Antarctica, a continent we now know as icy and barren, were ice-free. Hapgood looks to the Piri Reis world map, drawn 500 years ago by the Ottoman admiral of the same name, to reconcile his theory with evidence. The map is thought to show the west coast of Africa, the east coast of South America, and the northern coast of Antarctica, with all land masses totally devoid of ice. Conspirators believe both Hapgood's theory of crustal displacement and that much of the South Pole was free of ice, and also the location of the lost city of Atlantis.
So they're talking about Pangea.
Yeah, but in a much faster time period of, that would basically be a.
All the supercontinent is all together, and then like in a couple of years, it's like, hey, all right, so there's an ocean between everything. That happened.
Yeah, imagine going, I have to borrow sugar at my neighbor's. Holy shit.
My neighbor's gone. I have beachfront property now.
Yeah. Wow.
When did that happen?
In 1995, Graham Hancock published a study, Fingerprints of the Gods, claiming that crustal displacement in 10,450 BC had destroyed an advanced ancient civilization, the remains of which now lie beneath Antarctica. Hancock muses the descendants of said civilization went on to build the Aztec, Mayan, and Egyptian empires. This postulation rings true when compared to Native American mythology, which traces their ancestors back to the enigmatic White Island in the south, Aztlan, which I'm pretty sure I butchered that name.
Wait, why is the island got to be white?
I don't know. But apparently it was destroyed by a natural disaster.
But if it's named Aslan, I mean, they're actually talking about a lion. So
Aztla with a little foot over the top and
Over the top.
I don't know what it's called. Here, I'll post it in chat.
Yes, Gnostic. This is all pseudoscience bullshit. That's what the show is about. Jesus Christ.
That's the name. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Now
Schmeckle, take Gnostic's wrench. He's being annoying.
It's Aztlan.
Aslan?
Aztlan.
Aslan?
That's how you pronounce that.
Aslan.
Welcome to
Aztlan.
Words with Lo-Fi. Today we have to pronounce
the article goes,
word.
The article goes on to say that scientists dispute the theory of crustal displacement, stating that, in effect, the Earth's crust would have to move at 1,000 miles per hour for the timing to line up.
Jesus Christ.
Thus wiping out flora, fauna, and humanity itself.
It's not just I'm going to go borrow some sugar from my neighbor. Oh my god, I have beachfront property. It's why the fuck is there no ground underneath me?
No, you're sitting in the
choked on my Danish.
Oh my god! If you timed it,
you choked on lo-fi. What?
Oh, thank you. If you timed it and jumped as soon as the crustal displacement, you would end up in another continent. What? Oh god! Very cold. The crustal displacement theory is so fucking stupid, though.
Oh, I love that the article ends saying, presumably the U.S. government are responsible, or aliens, or the lizard race that secretly rules the Earth.
Oh god.
That's how the article ends.
Fuck off.
That's basically what it sounds like they're saying. Just, all right, we're done. Fuck off.
So I like how they take the stupidest theory in the world about how, what if Earth suddenly decided to swing another way and ignore physics? Oh, well, then I guess everything's possible.
I mean, if the Earth stopped spinning, like the whole scene in Superman where he in the original Superman where he turns the world backwards to turn back time.
Because that's how that works.
Yeah, the instant that the Earth stops spinning, everybody on the planet would fly off of it.
We'd all be dead.
Yeah, we'd all be in the. There would be it would be pointless. Not worrying about anything. Everybody would fly off because how many miles per hour are we spinning on a daily basis? Isn't it like something like 10,000 miles an hour or something like that?
The spinning is a lie. We're hurtling through space.
Yeah, we're actually on the back of a star whale.
I thought it was a giant turtle.
Well, it depends on your culture. I was going with a Doctor Who reference, though.
Oh, I've never seen Doctor Who, so there.
I hate this theory. I'm reading up on the Earth crust displacement theory, and I'm getting
angry.
Yeah, this is really upsetting.
Is it that stupid?
It's that stupid. So there's something called true polar wonder, which makes it like how we slightly tilt a little bit, and looks like the polar they turn on the compass and such. So what is north is not the true north anymore, because that's how it wanders. It takes fucking 800 million years for just the slightest change, right? So there's nothing. This basically says, oh, it could be something like where the Earth rotation would switch and stuff. How are you? What the fuck?
She's so angry she cannot talk.
It's just fuck the morons who believe this. Get in a car, drive 600 miles per hour, and just stop, and then see how well you feel when you fall out the front window and you die instantly. You stupid fuck. And of course, they're not talking about gradually. It's always like, okay, so now it's left to right, up, down. Oh, the polars wandered. Oh no, everyone died. That must be true. That's why Atlantis is gone.
This is why I have a problem with not being able to say something is 100% plausible or 100% implausible. It's or possible even is because there is always someone who's going to take it to an extreme. So we could possibly stop the Earth from spinning, but if that happens, it's not even 100% chance that everyone is going to fly off the face of the planet, because you can't be 100% certain of it. So you get theories like this that are just fucking stupid.
Oh no, I found a video of it.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's stupid. It's literally what I just said. It's rotating the same way, but now it's suddenly rotating up and down now as well. And now it stopped rotating. What made it stop now? Why did it start? Where did the other forces come in? Did everyone fart in the same direction? What happened? It's called physics. You fucking morons. What the fuck? Stop upsetting me. It's too early. I'm
Physics
crying.
is a lie. Physics is a lie.
I'm gonna
Physics
shoot
is a
myself.
lie. Yes, I know everything is possible thanks to quantum physics. Yes, I know.
Dude, I cannot wait for our episode of the string theory.
Oh, fuck me.
How many
I
pascals
love
of
that
pressure do
theory.
you think
It's
to
my
take it?
favorite one. It really
let's see.
is.
Multi-dimension theory is also fun.
I love that one. Ah, you have no idea. Oh
I
my
can't
god.
wait to
No.
talk about aliens. That's gonna be fun.
I know, but today is all about how Namor and Aquaman are hiding in the Mariana Trench or wherever the fuck it is.
Well, depending on which Atlantis you believe, they could be frozen in the ice under Antarctica. That's why.
Oh yeah, the cross displacement froze them instantly because suddenly it was cold. They didn't see it coming. Like, I'm gonna fight you. No, I'll
gotta
fight.
put them in the
frozen.
microwave and thaw them out when we find them. They'll be fine.
They'll explode because of the microwave. We found Aquaman. Oh, he's dead.
I love your sound effect.
This is getting better.
Okay, so to answer Wild Fox, it would take about 100 meganewton to completely vaporize a human being.
Wait, what was the question?
That's how much would it take for a person to go splat? And I took it further to how much would it take for a person to go and just disappear.
just no more person.
Yeah, 100 meganewton. So cross displacement theory would vaporize every single one of us. That's why Atlantis disappeared. No one was there to keep up because they all disappeared.
And a wild fox, it was asking what keeps the oceans on the earth if it's flat. Apparently, a giant ice wall.
Yes.
We will discuss that when we have the flat Earth
The
theory.
flat Earth conspiracies.
But
Maybe we should do that next week. Let's just cover the flat Earth.
Just
get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, get it
yeah.
out of the way.
Oh, I'm gonna sit in chat and be so angry.
No, fuck it. Join us, Lo-Fi.
Okay, I'm gonna join you and be so angry.
If we could find, if there's anybody who unironically believes in the flat Earth theory, we would
Now,
love to.
are we
pick
just
your
gonna
brain.
do we just want to do flat Earth, or do we want to do all the different type of Earth theories, like the hollow Earth theory?
No. Yeah, you could did two opposites, Hollow Earth and Flat Earth, because they are the exact opposite. That would be really good.
I believe the Earth is both flat and hollow.
So it's a thin crust. It's like a wafer.
Hey, it would explain why earthquakes are so damaging.
It's kind of like a Pop-Tart with no filling.
Oh, that's sad.
It's the Pop-Tart Earth theory.
The Pop-Tart Earth theory. I like it.
What does a squirrel being smushed by a tire sound like? I think you can find that on YouTube, Trippy Poop. But I would say it's like...
Let the bitching witch. No. It's not. Lucifer just snapped his fingers and people went poof. That was Thanos. That was Thanos. There you go.
No, she says
Spoiler.
according to Supernatural.
Oh, according to Supernatural. Okay, fair enough. According to the MCU, it's Thanos.
Yeah.
That's what happens to the Atlanteans. Thanos showed up. They got a little uppity, and he was just like, "Snap, gone."
Fuck, I'll kill all of you. Fuck you, bitches.
Yeah.
That he does have the reality stone. He just unmade reality. He just
There you
forgot to make everybody believe that it wasn't true.
Absolutely. I think we're losing our minds.
A little bit.
I did after Earth cross displacement theory. I'm so angry.
Okay. So when it comes to, we'll go to the Plato's, the Critias about Atlantis.
What if we think this
It was-
conspiracy is true or not?
No, it's about the. It's about the whatchamacalls it. Fuck, I know words. I swear I know words. Somewhere deep in my mind, there are words that can come out of my face hole.
Oh, what you heard you.
I love how optimistic you are about them coming out of your face hole.
I know. I write books. But no, the about that the whole thing. I was about to say, fuck it. Never mind. It just. Okay, it was a story. That's right. That's what I was gonna. That's what I was.
You couldn't
go
remember the word
into.
story.
I write books.
Her brain did a displacement theory in her side. As it slammed against the side.
The left and the right brain just separated at 1,000 miles an hour.
Turned around, switched around, and now they're upside down.
I write books. So no. It was but what it was the whole thingy how he'd started the Atlantis stuff through story that was told to him by like his dad or something, and that his dad had heard from like an Egyptian. Yeah, from like it was a story that he'd heard from somebody else who had heard it from somebody else who had heard it from somebody else who had heard it from like someone in Egypt or something like that. Like that's where the quote unquote Atlantis story came from.
But
And
we don't have any evidence of him getting that story from his dad. We have an evidence of him actually saying it. He didn't say in his speech that my dad once told me about Atlantis. It was Atlantis is a highly advanced technological society that could attack Athens.
yeah.
As an allegory of another basically saying that Athens needs to be able to protect itself.
But no, well, the thing is though, like you're gonna go down the show me proof.
If we're talking about his speech, there is no evidence of him saying from his speech, which is the only source that we're taking this from, that he said he got it from his dad. So if we're taking his speech as evidence, that's the evidence there is.
I love that you two's completely switched roles.
What do you mean?
You were supposed to be the skeptic, and he's doing it for you.
Yeah, but she actually believes in Atlantis.
I don't think
Atlantis
I don't think it's dumb to believe in Atlantis.
Which Atlantis are we talking about? Plato's Atlantis?
Plato's
Or
Atlantis, yes.
Okay, I think yeah, maybe.
I really do think that it was misnamed when it was discovered. Or
Well,
not even misnamed, just that it was misnamed when he talked about it. That it was the Minoan
yeah, maybe
island.
that's what he decided to call it. Maybe it was an error, and he didn't say 9,000 years, but he said something slightly less or something else.
I will admit that the 9,000 years probably could have been a misnomer. It might have been 900. It might have been 9,000. We don't, that's fine. But as for it being there, it is what he said. So there you go, Raystone. That's where his speech is. What is it? The Kretos?
Critias.
There. That link.
The Critias.
The creepiest.
Critias. Yes.
Critias. Ay.
So I mean, again, I state that there is a possibility, yes, of a city sinking, an island with a city on it, not a continent, but a technological society on it. Yes, it could have sunk. Is it Atlantis? Well, in the way that we were talking about it, yeah, since any society like that is being considered Atlantis.
Yeah, like the first big one, very old, where we don't have a name for the city, so we know it's not the sunken city of Qingdao. We will
Gesundheit.
we will legitimately consider Atlantis. So whoever finds the first city founded, no one knows by name, found Atlantis.
Yeah. So, but
there we go.
Talking about Plato's Atlantis? No.
I really do think, again, this is me being stupid. I think it's the Minoan island, but because that language can't be translated, and it's difficult to there is no current translation for the language that has been found in these ruins and shit like that they found of this civilization. They just found pictures of King Minos and shit like or relating to like the Minotaur and King Minos and all of that. And I think that was the island that Plato referred to as Atlantis.
I think it's an ancient desert city that got lost under the desert sea.
I think that is highly plausible as well. I don't if it's found, then it's found. But I think it was already found. Just it was misnamed either by Plato or there's been no translation for the Minoan city yet.
Again.
Yeah, sorry. Like I don't know. And, I'm not as ridiculous as being like, no, obviously they decided to activate their engines and they flew their island up into the sky where it's floating now and the aliens continue to watch us.
Okay, if you see Men in Black showing up at your door tonight, Kadant, don't open it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hope for Earth crust displacement so they get flying off in the distance and I can run away in safety. If I just grab onto the door frame, I won't die. They will.
I mean, Ishtar, it's too late. I've been making them dinner and we've been having a chat and they've just been listening and they're like, oh, these seem like pretty cool people. They don't believe this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I do. And they're like, yeah, don't worry. When you're done with this, you get to go with us.
Oh.
Who the hell are you? Oh, never mind.
Men in Black.
Oh, gotcha. Tell them to stay away from where I'm staying right now.
Tell them to not steal my stereo anymore. Fucking black men.
Well, this one says his name is John Smith, and this one says his name is also John Smith. So,
well, at least you know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you can call the supervisor John Smith and say, John Smith been a real bully. But John Smith was really nice.
Ragnarok says a tsunami splash across desert. How would that react with sand? Would the water go under it in the sand would rise, or would we get a burying, aka spinks?
What? Do you mean the desert that goes out to the sea? Because that would function like a beach. But if you want like a giant super tsunami that hits the desert, I don't know. I think it would turn it, if it's big enough to get that far into the desert, it might turn it into a momentary quicksand, the entire thing. And it would be fucking amazing movie. A couple stuck in the desert, everything turns to quicksand.
If there's a fucking tsunami big enough to hit any of the fucking deserts, we got much bigger problems than some quicksand.
Yeah.
And quicksand can't kill you.
How the fuck can quicksand not kill you?
Because there's a point in time where you become as buoyant as the water that's in the sand. It doesn't bring you all the way down. You'll get stuck in it if you don't get out. You'll, starve or get attacked by something that'll eat you. But the quicksand itself won't kill you.
Oh shit! I always thought you could go straight down.
Nope.
Well, that's good to know. I'll remember that next time I run into quicksand.
Yep.
Hey,
just float, it'll be fine.
it could save your life. You don't know.
Fun facts with Antoine.
How could knowing it won't suffocate me save my life?
Just float. It's like water. Just relax.
Yeah.
And wait.
There we go. Now, if I ever run into quicksand, I'm gonna be safe.
It's very light in Canada with all the cross displacement. Sand gets displaced everywhere. I fucking hate that theory. I'm sorry. It's gotta be my.
This is the best part of this night is how pissed you've gotten about this theory.
I'm gonna use it as every excuse ever. Oh, Lo-Fi, why did you do this a job? Oh well, the cross displaced and the furniture just flew to the other side of the store. I'm sorry.
Raystone, Princess Bride did not lie to you. That is lightning sand versus quicksand. That is different.
And as for the rodents of unusual size, I don't believe they exist.
Oh, nice quote.
No, but they do. But they do.
They do. We have one in a park in Denmark, and everyone keeps feeding it, and it literally eats everything now.
Have you seen raccoons? Those things are of an unusual size.
Those are trash pandas.
Oh, they're
Just
fucking
look at any rodents that are in Australia. Those are all of unusual size.
Very true.
I don't think raccoons are rodents.
No, they're not.
Wait, Mustelidae. That's what they are.
What about tanukis?
What's that?
A tanuki? A raccoon dog? Oh, that's
Yes,
I just
the
answered my own
tanuki
question.
dogs.
That's a dog.
It's so cute.
It has huge balls.
Slappy Get Right says coons are cool.
Yeah, fucking love coons. They work so well in my cotton fields.
She beat me fucking to it, damn it.
I almost choked on my salad.
You should choke on your Dane again.
I mean, you do have the Men in Black there, so I mean, if you do start choking, you can, they
They'll
can
help you.
on the back.
No. That to get rid of their problem.
Yeah, but don't they just want to take you away, because even if they try and they can't kill you because they can't hide the body well enough.
You're
but they
going to
can
be
watch
a
them, though.
new visitor to Area 51.
Yeah.
They're just taking you so that you can join Mensa because you're a genius. You figured out that Atlantis is real and probably aliens and I don't know. Do you believe in ghosts? Of course you do.
So you are saying that I you are
Answer your
saying
own
that
question
I am
there,
a
Schmeckle.
genius?
No,
Yes?
we're saying you're a dirty hippie.
No, that I am a genius. He just said that I am a genius, and therefore that makes me
genius?
French and perfect, because the French people are the most intelligent people.
No, no, no. No.
We are devolving again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since we're devolving, do we want to call it here?
I think we should.
Wow, I still got more stuff we can talk about Atlantis, and I'm just gonna let you know, I'm right. I'm just saying.
Then
It
bring
was the Minoan. It was the Minoan.
Give me if you all right. If you're going to state that you're right, give me proof.
Does everybody have popcorn?
It sounds like it. I'm not.
No,
I,
I'm
I'm just-
eating because I'm a fat girl.
No, you're not. Shut up.
You're perfectly sized. I've seen you.
Yeah, I'm Danny DeVito in a wig.
Okay. What
You
was
are not.
Minoan feel? Come on.
Minoan,
Atlantis.
Minoan theory. Come on. Put up or shut up.
Hurry up, Grimace.
So, the Minoan society, that island that was there, it was considered fairly advanced, or at least it was one of the first advanced societies of that time in comparison to the rest around it. And it got fucking destroyed by a fucking volcano.
Yes.
And I believe the timeline seems to fit well enough when you take into account the whole 900 versus 9,000.
But one of the Minoan civilization, one of them was on Crete, and that island is still there.
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
That didn't sink at all. I thought you meant more in the way that because we do not know how to read the text, it's basically just we have some buildings and we go, we can take a fucking wild shot, and then it's lost to sea. A knowledge.
Well, yeah, no. Like if you look at the language that they do have, in the Minoan, especially specifically the island of Thera, I believe is what they called it.
It's now called Santorini.
Which is still there.
Yeah, the island of Santorini, like the
Very popular tourist.
but I'm sorry, I'm still eating. But
Stop
no,
it.
like I can't help it. I'm food hungry, numbs. But
You're food hungry.
num.
So what I'm hearing, I'm not hearing. No offense, Kadan. I'm
Yeah.
not hearing proof. I'm hearing your opinion, and your opinion is not stating the fact that the Minoan society is the Atlantis that Plato is talking about.
I'm saying I feel like that's a plausible answer.
Exactly.
It's
You
a
feel
theory.
like that's a plausible answer.
So you theorize that because the loss of language, so it's based on more of a guess than most other things, that could theoretically be the thing he was talking about. That
I think
But
that makes
that's
the most sense just because why would, like, considering that Plato doesn't usually shoot things like that off his hip.
he doesn't shoot the shit. It would make more
like
sense.
he wasn't known to just make shit up. And I think that
He was a fucking philosopher. Making shit up was half his job.
you know what,
fucking
that's fair.
people who say stupid shit like, how do we know a dog is called a dog and the cat is called a cat? Because we fucking named them. Go fuck yourself.
Mhm.
I hate philosophers. Die.
Really?
Disgust me.
Never could have guessed.
No, that's like I get what you're saying. Like Plato, when there were facts, he
was factual. Yeah, and when he was dealing with the governing bodies, when he was making speeches and stuff, he was very factually honest. That's why there was a split after he gave his talk. It's
Critias.
yeah, but he was a philosopher, so yes, what if the sun, what if the sun is hollow instead of it's not a giant ball of gas. It's
the sun is hollow, dude.
Or what was it? There was one. It's an egg. Was that what you guys were talking about before? The sun is an egg or some stupid shit.
Yeah, the sun is an egg and it's hatching another Earth.
Oh, I thought the moon was an egg.
Was it the moon or was it the sun? I was half paying
got
attention to
both.
CNN.
I know the moon is an egg, according to a lot of
it's
retards.
So it's just that's why. I mean, you have a feeling that it sounds like it could be plausible. Well, I asked for proof. There's no proof given.
Fair enough. No. That's a fair point. I just think that's the most reasonable assessment. Everybody keeps looking and
No,
looking and looking and looking and looking and looking. And I'm like, but haven't you already found it?
Hey, a lot of people believe in Atlantis, and it's in a bunch of ancient texts. It's at least as real as God.
Yeah. I would
Well-
say it's bigger chance that the Plato Atlantis is real than God is real.
I know that there is an Atlantis. It's in Las Vegas. I plan on going there eventually. So I found my Atlantis.
And you know what? I think that's where we can settle this is, it can be either it's the fucking Plato Atlantis, which either has been found or is yet to be found, or it's one of the other various Atlantises, aka the sunken cities,
Yeah.
of technological advancement for their time, or even a Las Vegas Atlantis, complete with water slide.
And there's also one in there's also an Atlantis in San Diego. It's
Definitely have a water slide right now. The real Atlantis.
the one in
But-
Water
the one in
slides
San
are-
Diego is in SeaWorld, so
Water slides are the true indication of an advanced culture. Sorry, that's just the way it is.
That in the hot
Be an
tubs.
advanced, you can't be an advanced culture without a water slide and a hot tub.
There we are. Antoine, shut this
Yes.
shit down.
Yeah.
all right, folks. Thank you for joining us. We were joined by Lo-Fi as our special guests. My co-hosts are Kadunt and Ishtar. You guys have been watching Qualms of the Curious, and we've been talking about Atlantis. So I hope you guys join us next week. When are we doing Flat Earth?
I
Fuck
think
it. Let's do flat Earth.
Fuck. All right. Next week we'll be talking about flat Earth theory and possibly hollow Earth theory. So if you guys know anything about it or you guys have any information about it, send it our way. We'll see you guys later.
And I hope we
Bye.
helped you